Hi, I'm Dr. Heather from Wellspring Chiropractic Lifestyle Center. Today I want to show you how we help people that are struggling with sciatica. And the first thing we need to do is, when we decide how we're going to adjust them, is to understand exactly what's going on. So there are some times, if you look at the anatomy of the spine, where we have all the vertebrae sitting on top of the sacrum, and the sacrum is sitting in between the two pelvic bones. This joint on either side of the sacrum is called the sacroiliac joint because the pelvis is called the ilium. So we have the sacroiliac joint, that's the SI joint, also commonly known as the SI joint. So the SI can be unstable, or it can be almost like a sprain, something like that. And when that happens, then we want to address that in a particular way to reset the alignment of the sacroiliac and get that sacrum moving in the proper way. This proper way of the sacrum to move is forward and back with every breath that we take when we're walking. But if we have an instability in the sacroiliac, we can have the sacrum starting to be going from side to side instead of forward and back. And that creates a lot of spasming in the spine because it's essentially, it's kind of like the foundation being very unstable. You'll notice that all of the vertebrae are sitting right up on top of the sacrum. So if the sacrum starts to go sideways, literally sideways, where it's not functioning properly, then all the muscles tighten up because the foundation is unstable. That tightening up the muscles can actually cause spasming and causes the two vertebrae to compress together, and the nerves that are coming out from those bones, from between those bones, they can get pinched or irritated or in some way altered, and that can then start to send that pain right down the sciatic nerve that goes right down the leg. So we want to address that sacroiliac instability. It oftentimes goes unnoticed. It's not something that shows up on an x-ray because it's a functional problem. So we want to address the sacroiliac, and the best way to do that is using these blocks that we use, sacroiliac blocks. And what we do is we will have somebody lying on their back, and we'll place the blocks underneath their pelvis in a specific way that's going to help to realign the sacroiliac joints, one on each side. And then once that resets the alignment, we can take those blocks out, and now the sacrum is going to start to move in that forward-back motion that we want it to, the healthy motion. And all the muscles above it can start to relax. If somebody has a disc herniation that is going on, and that's what's putting pressure on the nerves that come out that go down into the leg, and I will tell you that 90% of the sciatica causes may be related to herniated discs as well. In this case, we're going to have somebody lying on their belly, and we're going to use the blocks to actually act like a traction, so we can bring more space between the vertebrae, and that disc, by tractioning the two joints, it will actually help the disc to suck back in. And so we use the blocks in this way as well. And we'll have somebody lie on the blocks. Again, we'll place them in a particular way based on our analysis. And then that's going to help to release the tension on the disc. And again, once we release the tension on the disc, that's going to release the tension on the nerves that are going down the leg. So those are some of the ways that we will use the blocks. We also use a light touch method here in the practice. It's a tonal model, and it basically is helping the brain to find the areas of tension or stress patterning. And once it finds it, it's then going to be able to release it. So oftentimes we will encounter some sort of a stress situation, whether it's a physical stress to our bodies, a jarring of the spine, or it may be some mental emotional stress that's happening, and we tighten up our muscles to deal with that emotional stress. And then sometimes the brain just has the experience of it all being way too much, and it goes into overload, and it just says, I wasn't ready for that, but I'll be ready for the next time it happens. And then the brain just starts to hold the pattern for the next possible time. And in holding that pattern, that's when it becomes persistent. And so when we use the light touch, it helps the brain to recognize that this pattern can be changed now. And then we see it drop tension. When we make that light touch, oftentimes we will see that somebody suddenly takes a nice deep breath, and that's a sign of them shifting out of stress into safety or a calm state. And oftentimes we'll see that somebody wants to shift or stretch or move their body. That's the way that the brain's going to be reorganizing that pattern and integrating that. Sometimes we'll see people have little involuntary motions in the spine. Again, that's a way for the brain to be reorganizing things. And sometimes it looks very still on the outside, but there's a lot happening on the inside. And so we use all of our testing to verify that yes, indeed, a change has occurred and that we are seeing more stability in the spine. So I hope that you found this interesting and helpful on understanding how we address things here in the practice and how we get the results that we get. If you're curious on whether or not we can help you, then please click on the link and we can set up a consultation and find out. I look forward to seeing you soon.